Hello and welcome to HITC Sport, and lads, I hope you all had a great Valentine's Day. I hope you splashed out on a bunch of flowers, dinner and chocolates for that special right hand of yours. Listen, I myself had a great day. Yeah, you feel good about yourself now? You see what all those scarf jokes have led me to? Just before we start, this is a video, okay? Click it off now. Get out, go. Save yourself, alright? No, this is clearly reverse psychology. Please, stick around. We f***ing need all of you. 93,000 subs, are you kidding me? I'm trying to put my kids through school here. Just act like you have starving children at home. Maybe that will get you that 100k black. Actually, by the way, if we get to 100k by next Sunday, yes, big ask, I will do one thing that you suggest in the comment section below. So get subscribing and commenting on what you want me to do. Please don't ask me to eat my fucking scarf. I'd rather not have my stomach pumped because I have too much wool inside of me. I'm not fucking Welsh. Anyway, I know what you're thinking. Why the f are you making this rant when there are no Premier League games on this weekend? By the way, I hope you're all enjoying the FA Cup. I bet Arsenal fans are bored of their fucking tits. Originally, this video was just going to be me going through a few transfer stories and just denouncing them. Yeah, great idea to do that 2 weeks after the window is fucking closed. But we've actually had a few interesting stories this week. Hector Bellerin slams Arsenal. It's kicking off. Robbie, get the mic. Make sure Claude and Ty have had their coffee. We're about to have a showdown. So Bellerin was invited to a Q&A at Oxford Union in front of a bunch of students who'd obviously taken time out of burning £50 notes and playing rounds of croquet. I mean, I assume that's what rich kids do. I wouldn't have a fucking clue, considering I spent every night curled up in a wardrobe wrapped in newspaper clippings. You would have thought one of the opening questions would be something like, are you going to win the Europa League? What's it like playing for a huge club? Do you ever feel like throwing Alex McLeish in a wood chipper? But no, inside the opening 5 minutes, it was about his passion for fashion. I'm sorry, is this some kind of joke? He's not even wearing a scarf. Are we just going to ignore that crucifix hanging out of his ear? Although, to be honest, it wouldn't be a bad metaphor for where his manager is heading if he keeps getting smashed by Swansea and Bournemouth. But then another question was asked by some kid who had probably snuck out of chess club to attend. I don't know why I'm slamming Oxford so much. Maybe it's because if I asked to enroll, they would probably burn my application form and throw the ashes into the North Sea. Anyway, the question this kid asked was about ArsenalFanTV, and as we all know, the Spaniard who was told he wasn't fit to wear the shirt last season hit back. I don't think there are players that actually go on the internet to watch ArsenalFanTV. It does sometimes pop up on your timeline. I see it sometimes. I have friends who say, oh, have you heard what that guy on ArsenalFanTV said? It's so wrong for someone who claims to be a fan and their success is fed off failure. How can that be a fan? So this understandably went down about as well on that channel as Arsene Wenger's new contract, with many jumping on Twitter to spend the next 46 hours telling everyone how Bellerin's comments had not affected them in any way, shape or form. But Bellerin makes the point that this channel feeds off failure. Let's see. Now on one hand, yes, their most popular videos tend to be the ones where their fans are having absolute breakdowns. Of the 60 most viewed videos on that channel, 2 of them feature wins. And even then, one of them features a rant against Stan Kroenke, with the word blood thrown around more recklessly than in a Quentin Tarantino screenplay. It's obvious why that channel has basically taken over the internet. The outsiders and neutrals have come to associate meltdowns with that channel. But here's the thing, what that channel does is actually pretty great. It gives the fans a voice. It's not Robbie's fault if there's 1 or 2 people that come on there with a script every weekend. For better to question whether those lads are actual fans or not. Yes, I mean they do moan a lot, especially for a set of fans who have never experienced relegation and probably can't remember the last time they finished outside the top 5. But come on, a bunch of them just flew to FK Ostersunds, a game not even Arsenal's 5th team would have lost. Yes, Chuba Akpom, I'm looking at you. Stood in a stadium that might as well have been a fridge and were forced to dress up as the Lion King rather than die of hypothermia whilst waiting for Danny Welbeck to control the ball. These are real fans, Hector. Yeah, some of them might go over the top sometimes, but you can't question their commitment. Speaking of when Oxford and Arsenal collide, apparently Sol Campbell has applied to be the new manager of Oxford United. Are you sure about that, Sol? They are in League 1 after all. You've tried the lower divisions before. You lasted about 20 minutes in Notts County before you realised, oh I just won the FA Cup. What am I doing playing against a bunch of lads whose pre-match meal consists of 3 tins of lager and half a packet of custard creams? Moving on to international football, when the Scots sacked Gordon Strachan, everyone in that country probably thought, finally we might actually be on the lookout for an up-and-coming manager and not someone plucked straight from the unemployment office. Yes, Alex McLeish first spell as Scotland manager was good. He beat France twice. This was before the French realised they could use their hands. No, I'm not over it yet. Are we all forgetting that McLeish walked out on Scotland after 10 games as soon as the Tucker brothers at Birmingham City came along? This was back when David Sullivan and Gold weren't destroying football grounds and trying to sign John Joe Shelby. These lads just have a habit of dreaming big. Then when everybody with a bit of self-respect inevitably fails to return their calls, they have to settle for Plan D. Or in West Ham's case this season, Plan F. It was like when they spent last year trying to sign Lacazette, Batshuayi, Baka before forking out 20 million on Andre Ayew. Well, at Birmingham they'd already tried for World Cup winner Marcello Lippi before settling for Alex McLeish. Which is a bit like when Ariana Grande knocks you back, so you instead decide to take Kerry Katona out in the town.
Won't somebody please think of the
fans, listen up. Yeah, I'm speaking to about 60% of our analytics right now. Paul Pogba is sick of playing for Jose Mourinho and wants to leave the club. Don't blame me, blame the Sun, who claim that Real Madrid are preparing a 120 million move for the man who probably spends 5 days a week in the barbershop. So let's see, on one hand this could be credible, considering Pogba nearly burst into tears last week after losing a midfield battle against John Joe Shelby, a guy who looks like he escaped Azkaban. On the other hand, the source comes straight from the Sun, a publication where I wouldn't be surprised if the reporters had their journalism degrees scrawled on the back of a Burger King menu. So yes, that story is basically bullshit. Another story, Inter Milan's Mauro Icardi is linked with Man United, according to Corriere dello Sport. I hope Marcus Rashford doesn't read Italian newspapers, otherwise he'd probably want to throw himself off the nearest fucking bridge. With the Icardi thing, I mean the Argentinian's agent is his wife, so I'm hoping he at least bought her some flowers on Valentine's Day, or she'll probably negotiate him a pay-as-you-pay deal at Wigan Athletic. By the way, Wigan fans on the channel, look, there, I have mentioned you. That should satisfy all 4 of you. If Alexis Sanchez had just arrived at the club, stuffing his pockets full of cash and tins of dog food, I'd have thought, yeah, there might be something in this story. But no, not now. Especially when their most pressing concerns lie at the other end of the pitch. It's been 8 years. How has nobody worked out that Chris Smalling would be better suited to sweeping the streets than he would playing at Old Trafford? Apparently, Galatasaray winger Gary Rodriguez was a transfer target for Newcastle last January. The 27-year-old was the subject of a £7 million bid. Just bullshit, bullshit. Newcastle paying money, actual legal tender for a footballer. Yeah, we all know that loan deals are like crack to Mike Ashley. Well, that and anything soaked in saturated fat. Bit of good news for all you Geordies out there. Paul Dummett has signed a new deal that will keep him at the club until he's 31.
Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate.
To be fair, if you told Newcastle fans this news 2 years ago, they'd have probably wanted to stick their head in a f***ing oven. But lately he's been in good form and making sure Javier Menquillo remains a distant yet horrifying memory. According to Sport, Andres Iniesta has been offered £31 million a year to sell his soul and go play in China, and swap Barcelona for Tianjin Quanyin to play against a bunch of lads who probably only learned the offside rule in 2014. To play in a league where Nikica Jelavic and Odion Ighalo, 2 men who are seemingly allergic to goals, are treated as superstars. Now normally I would laugh at a story like this, but I mean, Mascherano's kind of just... Okay, so the next one. I know it's the sun, alright? And just like the one in the sky, you should not look directly at it. Actually, to be fair, I don't really know what the sun is up to these days. I don't think I've actually opened a page of that newspaper. Ha! Newspaper. Since 2004. You know, back in the days when page 3 were a thing. So I think that sort of shows who they cater to. 11-year-old boys who grow up one day to think this is worth money. Jeez, I'm really going in that newspaper today. Apologies to anybody out there who reads the sun. Although I must say that I'm pleasantly surprised that you're able to work a computer. The story anyway is that Joe Hart wants a move abroad. Probably because the last one worked so fucking well for him. But let's be honest, I think Hart wakes up in the morning and in between mouthfuls of shampoo probably curses the day Pep Guardiola moved to England. 4 years ago, Joe Hart was lifting the Premier League title and was winning a Golden Glove award. Now he's rotting away on the West Ham bench. I think it's fairly obvious that he's going to want a change of scenery. F1 in West London, lock up your wives. John Terry's apparently on his way back to Stamford Bridge in a coaching role as he attempts to overthrow Antonio Conte and seize his job. Jesus Christ, it's where the writers of The Mirror were living in a Shakespearean play. So I guess if that's true, he's taking the Ryan Giggs way into management. Hang around his old club long enough, perk your ears up when the gaffer gets sacked, spend the next 18 months publicly turning down jobs that you weren't offered. Yeah, Ryan, well, I'd also like to formally reject that date with Jessica Alba. Lad, she hasn't appeared in a decent movie since 2011. None of these subscribers are gonna know who the f*** you're on about. How about that Selena Gomez and Pokemon Go? Am I right? Oh yeah, before succeeding someone who viewed Sunderland as a more desirable project. Yeah, taking the Wales job was a bit like buying a house that the previous owners had swapped for a crack den. To be honest though, I get that Terry probably has posters of Chelsea all over his bedroom wall, but still, it does look like Aston Villa will be in the Premier League next season. Does he not want to bow out on top? Instead of a final day trip to Millwall, where he will be playing in front of 30,000 fans who wish him nothing but a violent death. I mean, it's a perfect match. He's playing for a bunch of fans that hate Robbie Savage almost as much as he does. So Manchester United being linked with the son of Patrick Kluivert, the up-and-coming YouTube sensation Justin. No, I'm not talking about that kid who is slowly transitioning into Ellen DeGeneres. Is the story true? I'm guessing it's just a bunch of journalists looking at this picture of Mourinho smiling at Kluivert's son. Not in a Gary Glitter way, don't worry. You're notoriously renowned for neglecting the kids, if anything. So yes, this story is about Patrick Kluivert advising his son not to join Manchester United, which is probably the worst advice a father has given his offspring since Will Smith told his kids, yeah, go on, start a music career. That won't induce pelvic nausea and terminal headaches. Horrific. Now, I'm no Manchester United fan, although I do come from a country where half the population pop out of the womb in a Man United kit. But if Justin Kluivert is offered the opportunity to go to United, take it. Finally, a story that might actually be true. In a war, there are those who feed off victories, and those who, like vultures, feed off the carcasses of the defeated.
They do nothing, they produce nothing, they live from the brilliant, score more often from the difficult moments of their prey. In the world of football, we know many people with vulture behaviour. Sometimes they take advantage of a strong microphone. A player's career, without much brilliance, always the shadow of others more talented. To distill their frustrations, they take advantage of a defeat, a lost battle to lurk, waiting for defeat in the war, to feed their egos, as the vultures feed on the carcasses. They did not make it to the Rio Olympics, but they stayed there, waiting for the first opportunity to bring their bad omen. But remember, we lost the battle in that war. My son did battle since he was a child. Always fighting fair, always fight, always avoiding the vultures, always fighting against stronger. And thank you for thanking everyone, even the vultures. We lost the battle, but that's for the war we'll see, because it will last as long as we're on the field. And be sure that the Phoenix you will be reborn, preparing for all the fighting ahead. As for you, vulture, you'll be hungry, and there'll be nothing left to swallow in this war as long as carcasses.
Right, who gave Neymar's dad the whiskey? Christ above, that sounded like a war speech from Gandalf the Grey. If you'd read that out of context, you'd actually have thought that was some army vet coping with PTSD flashbacks. No, it was a summary of Neymar's reaction to his critics after a Champions League loss against Real Madrid. Anyway, I'm not even going to try and make sense of those ramblings from his dad, but this story actually seems to have a bit of legs. I think we can all agree that Neymar's move to PSG made very little sense, except to enhance an ego that probably needs its own bedroom, and of course a bank account that is probably now larger than Liechtenstein. I would predict that the Brazilian is going to go back to Spain very soon. All bridges have been burnt to Barcelona, and unless he's going to chuck half his wages in the river, it won't be Atletico Madrid. It makes sense that he's going to be Real's biggest signing of all time. Anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. I'm not really sure what that point of all that was. I don't think any of us learned anything. I actually think I just wasted my afternoon. But anyway, if you somehow enjoyed the video, give it a like, give it a share, and I'll subscribe. We're nearly at 100k. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.